Back at Talladega Superspeedway, our pole sitter Joe Nemechek is back in the lead. That's just part of the story, though. If you wasn't leading when you left a moment ago, Schrader came by and took the lead. Nemechek came by on the bottom of the racetrack, and now he's at the point of the field. And his Nemechek teammate Sterling Marlin, the 7 car of Michael Waltrip, and Earnhardt back in 4th position with a little bit of help from behind by Kenny Irwin.
Now we see Rusty Wallace on the bottom of the racetrack with help from Tony Stewart as he tries to get by Dale Earnhardt. The bottom lane has Rusty Wallace, Tony Stewart, Wally Dallenbach, Ricky Rudd.
Michael Waltrip was very strong in the Daytona 500 this year. And that 7 car comes in here with a lot of confidence today. He feels he can win this thing.
When they crossed the line that time, Felix Sabates ought to be very proud because his engines were running 1, 2, 3.
Keith Simmons, the engine builder for Shafco, has the engine in the 42 car of Nemechek, Marlin, and of course Michael Waltrip. Looking out the back of Rusty Wallace's Ford. Rusty being shown in 3rd position. The Home Depot colors behind him. The impressive rookie, already having won this year, Tony Stewart. Let's check in the pits with Ray Dunlap. Ray?
Well, thanks, Doc. We got a 42-car draft going on out there on the Speedway because 1 car has lost the lead pack. That's Ed Berrier. He's reporting a vibration in the right rear. Berrier said we're going to try to stay out there and hope we can stay on the lead lap. But if they catch him and pass him, then he will come into the pits. But they're trying to stay on the lead lap.
Car number 12, Jeremy Mayfield, looks like he may be having some trouble. John Kernan?
That's exactly right. Jeremy just radioed the crew and said he had an ignition box problem. He has switched back to the A box, but I don't know if that has fixed the problem. Potentially an ignition problem for Jeremy Mayfield.
And what a tough break. He is one of our No Bull 5 contenders. The car not running up to speed. And that front pack we're talking about now with 41 cars, less than 3 seconds from Sterling Marlin, who leads it to the very last car in that pack of 41. 3 seconds for 41 cars that jam together.
Look at Michael Waltrip down there on the inside. A moment ago, we were talking about him. He was about to take the lead. Now he's coming back up a little bit. He's dropped back to about 10th position, but it doesn't take long.
And what about Kenny Irwin? What a move he's made early on. Kenny had that great run season opening Daytona 500 in the car number 28. He started 20th today. The Texaco colors for Robert Yates Racing. He moved all the way to 5th, and now he's been shuffled somewhat. He was shown back in the 8th position, but a good run early for Kenny Irwin. Checking again on Jeremy Mayfield down in his pits with John Kernan.
Jeremy told the crew that the engine just quit running, so he reached over and flipped to the backup ignition, and that started the engine back up. So they think that it was just a problem with one of the ignition boxes. So they're on the backup right now, and everything seems to be doing fine for them right now. They hope the problem is fixed.
You know who's most worried about Jeremy Mayfield's problem? How about a guy named James Anderson out of Livonia, Georgia? He's the fan that's with Mayfield, hoping to win $1 million today. The Intimidator, 3 wide. Budweiser colors on the inside. Dallenbach, we told you, was fastest in happy hour. Now Earnhardt getting shuffled in the middle, and now we'll go backwards.
Now they've run long enough now that the tires have a little bit of heat in them. Might not adhere quite as well to the track. That's never a big problem here because of the high banking at the Talladega Superspeedway. But the cars might not feel quite as comfortable after the tires heat up.
Now see Earnhardt is the middle, and you're right, Jerry. He is going backwards. This time by, we'll see where Earnhardt checks in. It's probably going to be about 10th or 12th. He will be back in 11th spot. And Tony Stewart going for the lead on the bottom of the racetrack with help from Michael Waltrip.
Riding along with Wally Dallenbach in the Budweiser Chevrolet. We mentioned that he turned laps at over 196.5 miles an hour in happy hour. Very close to that outside wall was Jeff Gordon.
And looking right in the middle of the racetrack, Jeremy Mayfield is flying through this field. Look at him as he goes right through the middle. Now the 55 car, Kenny Wallace, finding his way, but that 12 car was going someplace. We saw him at the very tail end a moment ago in 42nd spot. This time he'll go by probably about 20th. Let's check when he goes by. 23rd. And now Michael Waltrip. I thought he was on the inside, Ned. What happened? Now he's on the outside.
He goes everywhere. It doesn't matter. Where he sniffs a little bit of air and he can get a draft, he just goes out there.
Check out Dallenbach. He's going for the front. The Budweiser car, followed by Kenny Irwin and Rusty Wallace. And Mike Skinner.
You and Ned put it perfectly. Everybody in this field today believes they have a chance, and I believe they do.
It looks that way certainly right now.
Our Taste of the Race telemetry on Wally Dallenbach's Chevrolet, brought to you by Jimmy Dean, shows you the RPMs and the miles per hour.
We'll check as they go by the start-finish line. Around 194, 195. As you drop off down in the corner, we might see, I did see 196 for just a second. And just 6,800 RPMs.
And they don't lose a lot of speed in the turn. You see, they did get down to 89 miles an hour, but not like we see on a lot of other racetracks because of the high banking here. Down the inside in the 2-car.
And Mike Skinner right behind him. And Michael Waltrip, the leader last time, is not the leader anymore. It's Wally Dallenbach.
Oh, and it's hard to break away from this 195 mile per hour action at Talladega, but we have to momentarily. What a scramble in the early laps. Wally Dallenbach, Michael Waltrip, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, and Kenny Irwin, our top 5. Back with more in a moment. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, I'm Jerry Punch along with Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, Ray Dunlap, Bill Weber, and John Kernan in the pits. Live action, NASCAR, Winston Cup style, and what a scramble toward the front. Rusty Wallace has taken his Ford Taurus, the same car that led the most laps at Daytona in February, to the front, but Mike Skinner now from 26th starting position, trying to make a move. He will be caught in the middle. Enough muscle to stay there. Well, he's hanging so far.
They're absolutely 4 wide over in the middle of the corner with Bobby Hamilton up on the high side. And fortunately, they shuffle off to 3 wide in the middle. And Rusty Wallace was leading when he ran across the line. And right now, he's running 5th. Well, make that 4.
Here's Jeff Gordon down on the inside leading a pack of cars up through there. Ricky Rudd had dropped way back, and he and Gordon have come back to the front now. Gordon moves to the outside, trying to take the lead.
You can hear the crowd reacting to this shuffling by the world's best race car drivers at the world's fastest stock car facility. Jeff Gordon and teammate Wally Dallenbach side by side at 194 miles an hour.
And the computer gave that lap lead to Jeff Gordon. NASCAR timing and scoring says that Jeff Gordon was the leader. We see as he comes off turn 2 has a couple of car length advantage on Ricky Rudd.
Now you're wondering what may have happened to our pole sitter, front row Joe Nemechek and his Sabco teammate. Let's check in their pits with Bill Weber.
Well, the most recent update on Nemechek is that he called in about 5 laps ago and said the back end of his race car is very loose, so they're going to tighten him up. But when the 42, the 40, and the 7 were running at the front of the field, that was part of a plan. Tony Glover telling his drivers, hook up and run together. It worked for a while, and they're in line right now. So watch for that throughout the day. But remember, Nemechek's car is loose. That's not good.
Indeed, Bill, the way the draft fluctuates here. And up very high, Bobby Hamilton goes way up on the outside. Dallenbach gets shuffled in the middle of the pack, and now he will go backwards.
What happened to Wally Dallenbach? Something happened. He had to get off the throttle in turn 2. And you can see what happens when these guys back off the throttle. You lose 10 spots before the car gets his momentum built back up.
Let's show you our Super 8 Motel serial scoring on Bobby Hamilton. He has come all the way from his 23rd starting spot to 5th now at lap 22. At Kodak Chevrolet there, car number 4, trying to make a move on the high side of Ricky Rudd.
Earnhardt has worked his way back to the 4th position. This is a battle right behind Earnhardt for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and on back. And once again, here's Jeremy Mayfield still in the middle, trying to work his way back to the front.
Ward Burton in the car number 22. Kenny Irwin, number 28. That 12 car lost his ignition for a moment, but he has come up through the pack.
And he's bringing Kenny Wallace, the 55 Square D car, right along with him.
We told you that Steve Park in the Pennzoil Chevrolet was excited about his shot today. Well, he has come from far in the back of the pack. Our Super 8 serial scoring on Steve shows he's running back in 35th position. And at 23 laps, he's running third.
Wow.
And let's update our points leader, Dale Jarrett, the Quality Care Ford Taurus.
Dale out there.
Started in 17th position. Now being shown in 27th spot. He gets fallen all the way back to 34th, but now is patiently trying to pick him off one at a time and work his way back toward the top 15.
There he got picked off by Derek Coates. The 41 car, the Kodiak car, goes by Dale Jarrett. We see Elliott Souder on the outside, and more cars going by. There's Bob Jeffrey as he closely watches the pack right in front of DJ. Boy, what a nerve-wracking job this has to be at this speedway, spotting.
Yes. I did it one time for a Busch race for DJ, and I said no more. I do not want to do that again because it is nerve-wracking. First of all, the cars are a long way off from where they're at right now. Bob Jeffrey is having a hard time seeing them. And he never takes his eye off the pack. Always watching.
Look how intense he is. He cannot afford to even glance away. As you mentioned, Ned, the spotters told me this morning that the hardest part of this race course is over in turn 3, when you can't see if a car is inside or outside. You can see if he's front or behind, but not where he is in relation to the car on the racetrack.
And obviously, you can't talk all the time. The driver has to do some driving, and conversation, radio traffic will just distract the driver, and it takes 100% of Dale Jarrett's concentration right now. Camera inside, then we see DJ trying to get by the 45 car. David Green did not make it.
If you just joined us, Dale Jarrett qualified 17th starting spot, fell back to 34th, and now being shown in 31st position.
And there's Mark Martin back in the 27th position last time on the outside line. Another car that's normally up front, very, very quiet here today.
Bobby Labonte's not too far up in front of him there. Bobby's always runs good here, but he's being rather patient there now as well.
I think it's coincidence and planning that all three guys in the points are all running together back from 25th back to about 35th.
Well, it's coincidental to a degree that they're right there, but I think that all of them are being very patient.
And pretty soon we're going to have the entire field nose to tail as Jeff Burton, the Exide car, losing position after position. Last time by, Burton was back in the 18th spot. Looks like he's going to be back about 20th right now.
And now they're beginning to get out into single file as those tires get heated up that much more, lose a little bit of the fuel weight from the back end, changing the handling characteristics of these cars, although this is not single file back in this part of the field, but we'll see more of that as time goes by.
Now, these guys need to get back in line because the front line, the front field, the front pack of cars are basically, but I thought they were in line, but all of a sudden they're not in line anymore. But as these guys run side by side, if these front cars were to get in line, they'd just simply drive away from them.
They would, but here's Ricky Rudd and Rusty Wallace in the 2 car trying to move back up towards the front.
Mike Skinner, the Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse onboard camera on the inside as he comes off turn 4. Last time by, Skinner was running in 11th position. Another 3 wide at the start-finish line. Michael Waltrip up on the outside.
Michael Waltrip in the car number 7. Same car he finished 5th with the Daytona back in February. Earnhardt, the same car he won with back in April here at Talladega. Single file up front, Gordon, Tony Stewart and Steve Park, two Chevrolets and a Pontiac. Now Earnhardt will make it 4 cars single file. Still in the early laps of the 31st running of the Winston 500, 3-time Winston Cup champion Jeff Gordon is showing the way. Back with more in just a moment.